Good morning. We are here at the third session on the chapter Indigo. It describes the struggle of the poor peasants of Champaran and Mahatma Gandhi's role to see that these peasants get justice. The farmers of Champaran had an agreement with the British landlords. They were forced to grow indigo according to that agreement. The cruel and cunning British landlords extorted money from the poor and illiterate peasants. They forced them to sign a new agreement. They wanted more money for freeing their land. Gandhi's long and heroic struggle ended with the victory of the civil disobedience. So let's go ahead with this lesson in this session. Gandhi decided to go first to Muzaffarpur, which was en route to Champaran, to obtain more complete information about conditions than Shukla was capable of imparting. Where is Muzaffarpur? It is in Bihar. Champaran, that is also in Bihar, which was en route to Champaran, which was on the way to Champaran. So Gandhi decided to go at first to Muzaffarpur. Why did he decide to go to Muzaffarpur? Shukla was not able to provide Gandhi with adequate information. Therefore, he decided to go to Muzaffarpur so that he can obtain complete information about the conditions of sharecroppers, of the peasants. Because he was feeling that he was not capable of giving correct information. He was illiterate. So he wanted to have complete information about the conditions of the sharecroppers. So he accordingly sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kripalani of the Arts College in Muzaffarpur. So Gandhi knew Kripalani, and therefore what he has done, he has sent a telegram to provide him information about his arrival there in Muzaffarpur, which he had planned to go to Muzaffarpur, whom he had seen at Tagore Shantiniketan school. So he had met him there in Shantiniketan school, and therefore he knew him, and therefore he had sent a telegram to him. The train arrived at midnight, 15th April 1917. Kripalani was waiting at the station with a large body of students. So Kripalani was already waiting there in the station with his students. Gandhiji stayed there for 2 days in the home of Professor Malkani, a teacher in a government school. And Gandhiji, what he has done? Gandhi stayed there for 2 days, where in Muzaffarpur, at Professor Malkani's home, where the arrangement was done, and he was a teacher in a government school. And Gandhi was an advocate of home rule, staying in the house of a teacher who was a government servant. It was quite surprising for many during those particular days. Gandhiji is being interviewed by Louis Fisher. So he tells him it was an extraordinary thing in those days. During those days, in the year 1917-18, it was a very remarkable thing to stay there who was a government servant. For a government professor to harbor a man like me, harbor to give shelter to a man like me, who was an advocate of home rule, who was demanding independence in smaller localities. The Indians were afraid to show sympathy for advocates of home rule. So it was a small place, and definitely they were very much afraid to show sympathy for those who were supporting advocates, means those who were supporting the home rule, those who were supporting independence. The news of Gandhi's advent of the nature of his mission spread quickly through Muzaffarpur and to Champaran. So the news of Gandhi's arrival and the purpose for which he was going to come to Muzaffarpur. He wanted to take up the issue of the peasants, sharecroppers. It spread very fast throughout these two districts, Muzaffarpur as well as Champaran. So what has happened once they came now? Sharecroppers. So who are sharecroppers? Sharecroppers are the peasants who were sharing their crop with the British landlords. Therefore, they are called as sharecroppers. Remember, they are called sharecroppers because they were sharing their crop with the British landlords. They were supposed to give the entire harvest of 15% of their land holdings to the British landlords, and they were supposed to grow only indigo. So these sharecroppers from Champaran, they started arriving there on foot. They started coming there by walk and by convenience to whatever the vehicle they had, by convenience to see their champion. And who was their champion? Mahatma Gandhi. So somebody was there who had come there with a mission, who had come there with a purpose to see that the exploitation by the British landlords stops. And therefore these sharecroppers, these farmers, they started coming where he was staying. Muzaffarpur lawyers call on means meet. Call on means meet. So Muzaffarpur lawyers called on Gandhi to brief him, to inform him, to tell about the conditions, to tell about the agreement. They also came to brief Mahatma Gandhi, to inform Mahatma Gandhi. They frequently represented peasant groups in court, and they were representing these peasants. They were fighting their cases in the court. They told him about their cases and reported the size of their fee. So how much they were charging them, they also told about all that. They explained to him about their cases. Gandhi chided the lawyers for collecting big fee. So he chided the lawyers, he scolded the lawyers, he criticized the lawyers for collecting big fee from the sharecroppers. They were all very poor peasants. He said, I have come to the conclusion, now I have understood that we should stop going to law courts. There is no point in going to the courts. We will not get justice there in the court. Taking such cases to the courts does little good. It doesn't help if we take up such kind of cases where the peasants are crushed, where the peasants are suppressed, fear stricken, they are full of fear. It was useless. Law courts were useless. There was no point in going to the court. When the peasants are suppressed, when the peasants are exploited, when they have a lot of fear. The real relief for them is to be free from fear. The only thing what they should have is they should not be afraid. They should be ready to face most of the arable land. So what does arable land means? Land suitable for farming. So most of that arable land, the land that was suitable, fertile land which was suitable for farming in the Champaran district was divided into large estates. So we'll see about that further now. We'll continue this lesson. Let's see the questions which are here. List the places that Gandhi visited between his first meeting with Shukla and his arrival at Champaran. So when he met him there in Lucknow, and after that Gandhi, where all he went. And then before that, his arrival at Champaran. Now we have seen in today's session that he has come to Muzaffarpur. Then all these peasants started coming over there. But before that, he was there in Calcutta. So now you find out where all he went before Calcutta, the ashram where he was there, Sabarmati. And remember that who was following everywhere? It was Shukla who was following him. So let's go to the second question. You can find out the answer for the first question. Second one, what did the peasants pay the British landlords as a rent? So keep this question in mind before you read this so that you will be able to find the answer for this in this passage. What did the British now want instead and why? So why now they wanted a new agreement and what was the reason for that? What would be the impact of synthetic indigo on the prices of natural indigo? So you'll be able to find out the answers for these questions here in this passage. So let's continue this passage. So large estates which were there in the Champaran region that were owned by Englishmen, they were owned by the British landlords. And who were working there? Worked by Indian tenants. So the farmers or tenants were the peasants. And the chief commercial crop was indigo. So this passage is very important. The chief commercial crop was indigo. The landlords compelled all tenants to plant 3/28 or 15% of their holdings with indigo. So you can remember that the landlords forced all tenants to plant indigo in the 15% of their land holdings. So 15% of their land holdings, which was arable land that they were supposed to plant only indigo and surrender the entire indigo harvest as rent. So only in that arable land only they had to do that. The land which was suitable for cultivating. And this was done by long-term contract. Presently, the landlords learned that Germany had developed synthetic indigo. So, therefore, since the Germany had developed that, this indigo, which was a natural indigo, did not have much value. They thereupon obtained agreements from the sharecroppers to pay them compensation for being released from the 15% arrangement. So what they were demanding? They were demanding what? They were demanding compensation. So they started demanding money from the poor peasants in order to cancel their agreement as they no longer required the indigo plantations. And why it was? Because the chemical indigo was prepared or the synthetic indigo that was prepared by Germany. The sharecropping arrangement was irksome, so it was very annoying. It was very much unpleasant, irksome to the peasants. And many signed willingly. So they were very happy with new arrangement. They thought that okay, there's no need because whatever was arable land, they have to cultivate. And secondly, they were insisting more and more yield also. So those who resisted engaged lawyers. So some of them they resisted to sign that because they were supposed to pay the money. Then these landlords hired thugs, gundas. What they have done? So they have hired thugs. They hired the gundas. And meanwhile, the information about synthetic indigo reached the illiterate peasants who had signed. So those who had signed, they came to know. And when they came to know, they started demanding their money back. They wanted their money back. And at this point, this is the time when Gandhi arrived in Champaran. So during this particular time, Gandhi has come to Champaran. So let us recapitulate whatever we have seen so far. Now we know that Gandhiji has arrived at Champaran. So he had stayed there in Muzaffarpur. Then after that, he gathered all the information and after that he has arrived there at Champaran. Now here let's go back to that. Here the idea of the departure of the British. Gandhiji tells Louis, remember that Gandhiji is telling about this episode of Champaran to Louis Fisher, who is a biographer. So he tells Louis Fisher when the idea of the departure of the British came in his mind, when he thought that the British should leave this country, they should depart because they were exploiting the peasants. And it was in the year 1917. Gandhiji had gone to the December 1916 annual convention. Where did he go? He went to Lucknow for annual convention of the Indian National Congress. So it was a meeting. So convention means here meeting of the Indian National Convention of the Indian National Congress in Lucknow. So it was a convention or it was a meeting of the Indian National Congress. A poor peasant came up to him and it was Rajkumar Shukla. So Rajkumar Shukla was a sharecropper, was illiterate peasant. He came over there to tell about the conditions of these sharecroppers. He was from Champaran. He wanted him to come to his district. Gandhiji had never heard of that place. It was near the kingdom of Nepal in Bihar. Rajkumar Shukla was a sharecropper. The character of Rajkumar Shukla is very important. It's a major character here. So Rajkumar Shukla was illiterate but resolute. He was determined. So wherever Mahatma Gandhi went, he went there. He had come to the Congress session to complain against the injustice of the landlord system which was prevailing in Bihar during that particular time. Gandhi had an appointment in Kanpur and he had to go to the other parts of India as well. Shukla accompanied him to the ashram in Ahmedabad. He begged Gandhi to fix a date. So wherever he went, Shukla accompanied Gandhi. So at first Lucknow, then he had to go to Kanpur. So he went to Kanpur, then Ahmedabad, and Shukla had accompanied him to the ashram in Ahmedabad. And he was begging Gandhi, he was requesting Gandhi, he was appealing Gandhi to fix a date. Gandhi was impressed with Shukla's determination, tenacity. We have seen another word for that. He asked Shukla to meet him in Calcutta. And he said, okay, you come to Calcutta. And from there, we'll go. In Calcutta, he waited till Gandhi was free. Then the two of them boarded a train for Patna. There Shukla led him to the house of a lawyer named Rajendra Prasad, who later became President of India. But Rajendra Prasad was not there when Gandhi had come to his house. And therefore, the ill treatment which Gandhi had received from the servants, those servants thought him untouchable and therefore they were not sure whether he belonged to the upper caste and therefore he also made ill treatment. After Patna, he goes to Muzaffarpur. Gandhi decided to go first to Muzaffarpur because he had met J.B. Kripalani earlier, so he knew him. He wanted to obtain more complete information about the conditions of Champaran. And Professor J.B. Kripalani waited for Gandhi at the station with a large body of students. And here, Professor Malkani was a teacher in a government school. But he supported Gandhi and he gave complete information to him. Gandhi stayed for 2 days in the home of Professor Malkani. The news of Gandhi's arrival spread quickly through Muzaffarpur and it went to even Champaran. And the sharecroppers, these peasants from Champaran, arrived on foot to meet their champion. Muzaffarpur lawyers also met Gandhi to brief him. Gandhi chided them, Gandhi criticized them for collecting huge fees from the poor sharecroppers. English landlords of Champaran most of the arable land in Champaran, so most of the land, cultivable land in Champaran was owned by the Englishmen. Indian tenants worked on the land. Germany had developed synthetic indigo. Now, indigo plantation was not very profitable. Therefore, they obtained agreements from the sharecroppers to pay to the landlords compensation for being released from the 15% arrangement. So they had an arrangement. So these peasants had an arrangement with the British landlords that on the 15% of their land holding, they have to plant only indigo. According to the previous agreement, English landlords compelled all tenants to plant 15% of the land with indigo. They had to surrender the whole indigo crop to the landlords as a rent. Those who opposed were tortured by their hired bullies or thugs. Meanwhile, the illiterate peasants saw through the trick of the landlords they were not ready to pay the compensation because they came to know that the synthetic indigo was developed by Germany. So those who had signed, they wanted their money back. So they started demanding their money back. Thank you. Goodbye.